my phone keeps overheating. But yeah, I don't know what the deal was with that whole car thing. Like, I don't know. I know you're like, you still think about that, but you don't like. I feel like I explain things, and I like. People always say that I like. You know how people over exaggerate? People always say that I under exaggerate. Like when I tell a story, and then like if I like, for example, if I say, oh, this person, this is how they are or whatever, and people are like, oh, okay, like, you know, they're just like, oh, okay. But then like if they meet that person, and like let's say that person is like a character, and they always say like off the wall stuff, like the way that I explain it, it like, I don't know, it just doesn't. People are like, oh, I didn't know it was that, you know, crazy or that funny or whatever. Like they still, you know, get the gist of it, but it's just like, I'm like the opposite. Like instead of being over dramatic, I'm oftentimes under dramatic, and I just feel like I really don't know what happened with that situation. I don't know, cause it was like literally like they just like swerved, or not even swerved, but they like just went into the lane, like as if there was no white car right next to them, in front of them. Like I was like next to them, but like a little bit ahead of them, if that makes sense. Like the middle of their car was, I mean, the middle of my car was like where the front of their car was. So like I can get if I was behind them, then it would be like, okay, maybe you didn't see me, it was a blind spot, and you didn't check your mirror. But no, I was in front of you, and you still like just went into the lane like there was nobody there. And then when I like did my little maneuver to get out of the way, then that's when they like really went all the way over to the left, and like you could hear their tires screeching. So I don't know, like I said, like I don't want to say I don't know what I hope, but I just hope that they okay. If it was like an emergency, I hope that they're okay. If they were just getting over and like not watching, I hope that, you know, because like I said, it didn't look like they wrecked their car or anything. So I just hope that maybe it was like maybe it was just like scary for them, and it was like a wake up call for them to always make sure that they look before they go over, because yeah, that's not good. And they would have hit me in the back, so it wouldn't have been good for them because of, you know. So I don't know. I ain't trying to get into no accidents. Yeah, trying to pay this car all the way off, and yeah, because that's what happened to my my other car. I owned my other car, my very first car. I had a 98 Taurus, and was driving home from Walmart one day. This is when I lived at the Disney, in Vista Way at Disney. And okay, so there, you know how you can like, so basically I was in the turning lane, right? And I had the green arrow, and I was in the turning lane, and like it was like a whole line in the turning lane. So we were just all like not bumper to bumper, like we still had room, but we were like right behind each other, you know? So that was that. We were right behind each other, and that actually looked like the car, and they have dents all over their, what you call them. I don't know what that's all about. I guess it's a Honda. Or black Honda. Okay. I'm not busting, I'm just saying like, oh, that looks like the car that I was just talking about. But I don't know. But yeah, like, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so I was coming home from Walmart the one night, and this one one car just, so we were all in a line, like we were all following each other, and anyway, we were all following each other, and it was kind of like we were like all right behind each other, but there was enough room for us to, you know, like a car length between, but it was like a one line going to the left. So the other way, their like regular traffic, like their through traffic had a red light because, you know, it was we had the right of way, the left turn had the right of way. So I know I'm over explaining this, but I gotta make sure that you understand what I'm talking about. So the left thing had the right of way, but of course in the right lane, the people who were turning right, they, you know, as long as you stop as long as you stop before you turn, you can turn right on a red light. You know, most places, unless, you know, it says otherwise. And this is one of those places that you were allowed to. So let me get around. All right, so we're going left or whatever, and everything's cool. Nobody's coming down the other way to turn right. And even if they could, they can't because we're all like literally right behind each other. So we just made that, like officially made that left turn and got on the street. So now we just gotta go straight, right? Because I was in the car with my girl Nikki, that was also my roommate at the college program. So we're in the car and we're about to go straight, and all of a sudden we just hear like this car like vroom, vroom, like, you know, like going mad fast, and hit the side of us out of nowhere, and we're just like, you know, it was just crazy. And it's like, it's hard to explain, but it was like the car hit the middle to back of my car, and yeah, that was it. Like hit us so hard that we went over the median of that street, because it was like you go down on the right and then there was a median, and then there was traffic coming the other way, and whew, it was crazy. We tapped because something happened, I guess, when I went over the median, the rock ripped ripped something under my car. I just heard my whole car just like, not like, okay, I was like, yeah, this car is done. The rock, like, I guess when it went over, it like messed up a lot under there, and my brakes stopped working. Like, I'm hitting my brakes and they ain't stopping. Like, I wasn't going that fast because I'm turning. So I was probably going like, what? Not even 15, because it was one big line. And then when I got hit, like, that was what made, you know, the car go over. And the brakes weren't working, and it was just crazy. So the car tapped the other car coming this way, because I think they saw what was going on, so they kind of started slowing down, and then we kind of like were at a face-off, and, you know, tapped the other car, and I was like, oh no, like, I already was in a crash with this car, this mojo back here, and then now, you know, I didn't tap this car. I hope I didn't do anything, you know, to their car, because there was no way to stop. So that happened, and, you know, me and Nikki, we trying to like hop out the car, and we had to climb out because this whole side was like jacked up, and then I guess, I don't know, like the doors were just all jacked up, like it just wasn't easy getting out the car. So we both had to go out this way, and whew, it was just crazy. So that happened, and then when we got out the car, I was like, literally, like, I was darn near on my knees to that person, like, I'm so sorry, like, to the person in front that had nothing to do with the crash, but we tapped because they're coming this way, and technically my car is now going the wrong way because when they hit me, I for some reason went over the median. Like the car just like flew. But I'm grateful because I'm just happy that the car didn't flip. I'm happy that it just, the wheel, like, you know, it just went that way. So yeah, that's what I'm happy about. I'm happy that it just drove over the median versus flipped over the median. That wouldn't have been good. So even though I was upset about it, I was like, hey, you know, we're all safe, everybody's good, no bruises, no like hurts in our neck or anything. So I'm not really too worried. So yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And they were like, they just stopped me. They were like, you're fine. Like, you know, they knew what happened. They saw what happened. They're like, you're fine. They, you know, they looked, you know, just to make sure. They were like, there's not even a dent or a scratch on my car. You're fine. Like I was like, do you need my information? Do you need my phone number? Do you need my insurance? Like, you know, even though it wasn't my fault, but I was just like, I don't want nobody messing up my car, and I don't want nobody else's car getting messed up. So I just was like, you know, like, oh my gosh. And they were like, you're fine. Like, there's not even a scratch on my car. And I think they were one of the college programmers too. They were like, there's not even a scratch on my car. Like, you're fine. Like, you know, you have it a lot worse than me. Like, it was barely a tap. I didn't even feel you. Like, you're like, you know, you're fine. And they were like, are you okay? Like, you know, they were just worried, like, are you okay? Is everything, like, you know, you need help with it? And I'm like, no, I'm fine. As long as you're okay, yeah. And they're like, yeah, you know, whatever. So they go around the car, and, you know, after they make sure that we're okay, and they go on about their business. So in this, like, as this is going on, I look over at the car that hit me, and so they're like looking in their car frantically, like very frantically, like they are looking like they have something in that car that's not supposed to be there. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, that's how they were looking around their car. And then I see, because their door is like wide open, so I see that I guess their cell phone dropped, and they had the flashlight on the cell phone. So my only guess is that maybe they weren't looking, because like they didn't screech, they didn't slow down when they hit me. There was no sign that they knew I was even there. Like, there was no sign that they even knew that anybody was in front of them. It's almost like they weren't looking. And, you know, then when I saw the flashlight on the cell phone, and the cell phone was like somewhere, you know, on the bottom, you know, somewhere on the floor in their car, I'm like, So, you know, they get their phone, and, you know, they take the flashlight off or whatever. No, they get their phone, they take the flashlight, and then they put the flashlight back on, and they're like looking around their car. So they're looking around their car for something. So at first I thought they were looking in the car. Like, well, I didn't know what they were looking for, but then when they found their phone, I thought, oh, that's what they're looking for. And then when they started using the flashlight on their phone to still look in their car for something else, I was like, oh, so you must have been looking in your car for whatever and not paying attention to the road, because you didn't even brake when you hit me, like, you know, whatever. So long story short, they're like looking around frantically, whatever. So then I guess this other car, like, because, you know, cars are still trying to get through or whatever. I'm now on the other side of the thing, like in the wrong way of traffic. And I guess one of their friends drives by in a car and is like, hey, what happened? You okay? Like, talking to the person who hit me. And it's like, hey, what happened? Like, what, you know, whatever. And he's like, I don't know. Like, he doesn't know. Like, he just doesn't know. He's like, she came out of nowhere. I don't know. And like, no. So, this is a long story. But he's like, oh, she came out of nowhere. And then, now the guy that's talking to him, his friend, sees my car all ratchet and beat up in the middle of my car. And sees a little, I don't even know if he really had that much of a dent or a scratch. But I think he had a little bit of damage. But it was on the front of his car. And the guy asked him, did she hit you? Does that make any sense? Do cars go like this or do cars go like this? Because how, like, yeah, cars turn, but cars don't just go side to side, like, perfect. So, how is your damage on the front of your car and my damage is on the side of my car, like, closer to the back, and I hit you? That don't make no sense. But I was like, okay, whatever. And then the guy had the nerve to say, yeah. He was like, yeah, she hit me. I'm like, yo, you lying. But I wasn't saying anything at this point. At this point, it's weird because I was watching this go on, but I was also getting all my belongings out of my car because I forgot to tell you guys, my car was leaking of fluid. So I got everything important out of my car, and then I called. Who did I call? I don't think I called my insurance. Oh, I have AAA. So I called AAA. And they were like, okay, we're going to send somebody out. But, they had to ask me certain questions. And based on my answers to those questions, they're like, oh, we're going to send the fire department out. So, do you have anything important left in the car? I was like, no, I took everything out. Like, well, everything that I could grab. Because remember, we had to climb out this way. And all the stuff is towards the right of the car from where he hit, and that part is all bent up.